गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. Hari Om. So welcome to Ashtavakra Gita. Today is, I think, the 6th day. We are in chapter 3. The Upanishad, declaration of Upanishad is, I am Brahman.
Upanishad, declaration of Upanishad is,
I am Brahman. And the Ashtavakra Gita is talking only about that at all times. It does not move away or move out of that topic of Brahman. After Janaka's exclamation about the self in the previous verse, sage Ashtavakra begins. Ashtavakra uvacha, Ashtavakra uvacha, avinashinam atmanam ekam vijnaya tatvatah tavatmagnyasya dhirasya kathamartharjane ratihi. Avinash Ashtavakra says, after hearing Janaka's words, Ashtavakra begins, Avinashinam Atmanam Ekam Vijnaya Tattvataha. That Atma, that self, which is Avinashi, it does not know any destruction. Ekam, that self is only one. There is no two, there is no many selves. It is not that, there is only one self. Like there is only one space, there is not many spaces. When it is conditioned by homes or offices or shops or rooms, we say room space, hall space, bathroom space, kitchen space, veranda space, outer space, inner space, we say. But if there's no conditioning, space is only one. In the same way, the physical bodies and different names and forms are conditioning the Atman. Otherwise, the Atman is only one. Avinashinam Atmanam Ekam Vijnaya Tattvataha. In essence, when you know the Atman, Tava Atmagnyasya Dhirasya. So the Dhira, the one who is poised in that wisdom of self-knowledge, or knowledge of one's own self, Katham Artharjane Ratihi, how can that person ever be interested in acquiring wealth? Because the wealth of consciousness is the supreme wealth, and when one realizes that supreme wealth, where is that person going to be interested in artha arjana, or acquiring the wealth of this world? Atma jnanadaho pritihi vishaya brahma gochare Shuktera jnanato lobha yatha rajata vibhrame. Atma ajnanat aho pritihi vishaya brahmara gochare. It is only because of the ignorance of the self does one ever get a liking for moving in this world of objects, names and forms and sense perceptions. Shuktehe ajnanataha lobhaha yatha rajata vibhrame. When the one who is thinking that there is silver on the beach, when the sun shines on the shell, the person whose mind is confused thinking it is silver and is searching for silver, he will search only as long as he does not know that this is shell. The moment he knows it is shell, he is not going to be searching for silver. In the same way, the moment I know this is the self, the Atman that is within, I will not be searching for objects of pleasure in the world outside. Objects and sense perceptions that will give me a sense of fulfillment and joy temporarily in the world outside. Only as long as I do not know the self, I will be doing the search. Only as that person does not know that it is the shell, he will be looking out for picking silver in the beach. Vishwam spurati yannedam taranga iva sagare sohamasmiti vijnaya kim dina iva dhavasi. Vishwam spurati, this world arises. Yatra, sorry, not yannedam, yatredam, yatra idam, where this tarangaha iva sagare, this whole world is coming into our awareness like a wave, like the wave comes into our awareness in the ocean. Saha aham asmi iti vijnaya, when the wave realizes that it is the ocean, or when this wave of thought of the world is understood that it is nothing but a modification of consciousness, kim dina iva dhavasi, then why do you run like a weak man? Why do you need to run after something like a weak person? There is no need to run when you know that the world which is appearing in our eyes, in our perception, is nothing but the modification of consciousness which is perceiving the world. When I realize that, how am I going to run behind objects, people, sense perceptions, and qualities? How am I going to do that? How will you do that? Is Ashtavakra's question to Janaka. Shrutvapi shuddha chaitanyam atmanam atisundaram upasthetyanta samsaktaha malinyam adhigacchati. Shrutva api shuddha chaitanyam atmanam atisundaram. Having heard about the self, all the masters above here, Swami Tapovan Maharaj, Swami Shivananda Ji Maharaj, Gurudev Swami Chinmaya, all of them have spent their lives talking about this self, that is the Atman. And whether it is the sage Ashtavakra or all the sages that have lived and gone, Shrutva api Shuddha Chaitanyam, they've all, what did they speak about? They spoke about that pure consciousness, Atmanam, that's I, Ati Sundaram, it is very beautiful, it is so beautiful. Upasthe Atyanta Samsaktaha, once you know about this self, this consciousness, Upastha, meaning standing nearby the sense objects that give us joy, give us pleasure, Malinyam Adhigacchati. Even after knowing this, the individual who is, even after knowing that pure self, if the individual is going after sense objects, then he is going towards corruption or impurity of that consciousness in our mind. There will be that state of impurity still, even after hearing, even after knowing, even after realizing that. If they are still not abiding in that and they go after sense objects, then there is no point, because there is the impurity of mind does not go away. Sarva bhuteshu chatmanam sarva bhutani chatmani muner janata ascharyam mamatvam anuvartate. Sarva bhuteshu, in all beings, there is this I, there is the self. Sarva bhutani cha atmani, all beings exist in the I, in the self. Munehe janata ascharya. O Muni, the one who is contemplative is called a Muni. He is referring to Janaka Maharaj. O Muni, janata ascharyam, having known that mamatvam anuvartate, Janaka is still in the palace. Janaka is still living in the palace of objects, people, power, everything is there. So Ashtavakra is saying, after knowing the self, still how do you go following that I, mine, mine, mine? This is mine, that is mine. How is it that's happening? Isn't it very amazing? Ashcharyam, aho ashcharyam. 6th verse in chapter 3. Astitah paramadvaitam moksharthepi vyavasthitah ashcharyam kamavashagah vikalah keli shikshayam. Asthitaha Parama Advaita. When one person is established in that supreme Advaita, moksha arthe api vyavasthitaha, and indeed also going on the path of liberation, Ashcharyam Kama Vashagaha Vikalaha. So it is really amazing that one person is getting ensnared by desire of lust, Vikalaha, weakened and distraught by the lust for physical pleasures. How is it possible? Even after establishing the mind in that self, in that consciousness, and also walking on the path of liberation, not only wanting to experience, but also going after that consciousness and wanting to be on that path of liberation also. Isn't it amazing that that person is still engaging in habits of pleasures of the senses of perception as well as the senses of action. Udbhutam jnana durmitram avadharyati durbalaha आश्चर्यं काममाकाङ्क्षेत कालमन्तं मनुश्रितः. Udbhutam, it is talking of physical pleasures. Jnana durmitram, it is an enemy of knowledge. The physical pleasures that we go after in this world are an enemy of knowledge. When we experience the pleasures of life, at that moment the knowledge of the self is snatched away from us. Jnana durmitram avadharya ati durbalaha. Avadharya, knowing for certain that it is extremely weakening of the body, mind and intellect. Strange and wonderful. Ashcharyam, kama makankshet. Still, how does a person go behind the expressions of desire? Kalamantam anushritaha. After knowing that the time of one's end is coming, and this experience of sensory pleasures takes away our knowledge, takes away the awareness of the self. How is it? It is so amazing that one person can go. He's actually giving an indication to Raja Janaka. It is not only important to realize the self, because Janaka ahoham namo makhyam. He's talking from the state of self-realization. So after attaining that state of realization, it is important to stay there and move forward towards liberation and not again fall back into the life of sensual pleasures, which a king is having the opportunity to do and he is already indulging in also. So it is, as a guru, Ashtavakra is reminding the king that it is indeed amazing that one person who has realized the truth can also go after sense pleasures. Igamutra viraktasya nitya nitya vivekinah ashcharyam mokshakamasya mokshadeva vibhishikam. Iha amutra, in this world and the next. Viraktasya, the one who is attached to the objects of this world and one who is attached to the expected pleasures that one is going to get in the other world after dropping the body, meaning in Swarga or other pleasurable lokas, pleasurable worlds. Ashcharyam moksha kamasya. You have given up, you are not attached, and you have given up on all the objects of pleasures in the world and also the objects of pleasures in the other world. And you have moksha kama, you have a desire for liberation. Mokshadeva vibhishaka. So then how is it that even you are afraid of moksha, that you want to go after the pleasures of the world? धीरस्तु भोज्यमानोऽपि पीड्यमानोऽपि सर्वदा आत्मानं केवलं पश्यन् न तुष्यति न कुप्यति. धीरः, the wise man, tu indeed bhojyamanaha, who has experienced the pleasures of the world. The pleasures of the world are done and dusted with him. He has gone through all the pleasures of the world and he has experienced it fully. Api, even then, Pidyamanaha, tormented, even tormented by the pleasures. Sarvada, ever, Atmanam Kevalam Pashyan, seeing that self which is one, Na Tushyati, is not pleased or is not angry with, even when he is feasted or tormented by the world, he is neither pleased nor is he angry. That is a dhira, a wise person who has understood, who has realized the presence of the self. Even when the objects of the world are giving him joy, he does not get excited about it. And even when the objects of the world are giving him sorrow, he does not get tormented by that. Cheshtamanam shariram swam. Cheshtamanam shariram swam. Pashyatyan yashariravat. Samstave chapi nindayam. Katham shubhyet mahashayaham. Cheshtamanam shariram swam. Acting in this body, one's own body, pashyati anya shariravat. Even while being inside the body, that person of realization is looking at the body as if it belongs to somebody else. Samstave chapi nindayam. But when that the person who has realized that this body is separate from me and he is able to dissociate himself with the body and then perceive the body as if it belongs to somebody else, how is he going to be moved by praise? Samstave chapi nindayam. Katham shubhyet mahashayaha. Such a person, such a great person who has realized consciousness as his own self apart from the body, how is he going to be moved by praise or how is he going to be moved by censure? Maya matramidam vishvam pashyan vigata kautukaha api sannihitam mrutyau katham trasyati dhiradhihi. Dhiradhihi, the one with a very firm resolution of mind about the knowledge of the self. Maya matram idam vishwam. This whole world is nothing but a play of power. It is a play of light and darkness. It is a play of thoughts. It is a play of feelings. It is a play of sensations. It's a play of emotions. Pashyan vigata kautukaha. He is not having any excitement about all this in the world. Api sannihitam mrutyau. Even when he is very close to the jaws of death. Katham trasyati. How does he have fear? Dhiradhihi, the man of poised intellect, the man of steady intellect. Like in Bhagavad Gita, the second chapter talks about sthita prajna. The same way is dhiradhihi, the man of steady intellect. How does he get scared about the coming of death? The earlier one is how does he get moved by praise, or he doesn't get moved by praise or censure. Here he doesn't get scared about facing death. Nispraham manasam yasya nairashepi mahatmanah tasyatma jnana truptasya tulana kena jayate. Tulana kena jayate. With whom can that person be compared? Tulana. Jnana triptasya. Who is that person? Atma jnana triptasya. One who knows the self and is content with that knowledge. He does not seek anything more after that. Nispraham. He is free from desires. Manasam. Of the mind. Yasya. Whose mind is free from all desires. Nairashye. In frustration also. Even in frustration also. Such a great sage. Mahatmanaha. Tasya atma jnana triptasya. Even in frustration also he is free. He is like, when we are frustrated, we hold on to desires. But this person of wisdom, even in the state of frustration, he is free from all desires. How is he going to? How is he? How can he? With whom can he be compared with? Where is the comparison for such a wise person in this world? स्वभावादेव जानानः दृश्यमेतन्न किंचन इदं ग्राह्यम् इदं त्याज्यं स किं पश्यति धीरधीः. That steady minded धीरधीः kim pashyati idam tyajyam. This one thing is acceptable. This one thing has to be given up. How does he see? Why should that wise-minded man, who knows that the perceived world in its own nature has no substance other than consciousness, considering one thing acceptable and one thing that can be dispensed of? So there is nothing that he takes in, there is nothing that he pushes away, such a wise person. अन्तस्त्यक्तकषायस्य निर्द्वन्द्वस्य निराशिषः यदृच्छया गतो भोगः न दुःखाय न तुष्टये. Antastyakta one person who has given up all the worldly passions from the heart within, from the mind within, and nirdvandvasya, he is free from all dualities in life. Dualities means I like, I don't like, praise and censure, cold and heat, the differences in sense perceptions, the differences in knowledge like day and night, all dualities are given up. There is only oneness everywhere. There is only the perception of oneness everywhere. That is a state of liberation, that is a state of moksha. Nirashishaha, who is free from all desires. Ashi means expectations. Nirashi means no expectations about the future. Yadrichaya agataha bhogaha natu na dukkhaya kalpate. For such a person who has given up expectations, na tushtaye. Dukkhaya na tushtaye. So when the person has given up all expectations and the objects of experiences come within in his person, come in front of him, there is no sorrow when it goes away, and there is no exhilaration and joy when it is coming in search of that person. So we have completed the 14 verses of chapter 3. Tomorrow we will go into chapter 4, which is the glory of realization. Let us see how many verses are there. Very easy. So there are only 6 verses. Tomorrow we will see that in tomorrow's session. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Boliye Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Hare Namah Parvati Pataye. Hara Hara Mahadeva. Hari Om.